However, it is a very special night here at the Land of Legends, as for the second time in 2024, we're going to add a name to the Land of Legends Raceway Wall of Fame, which you can see here has so many legendary names and drivers who have made history here in Canandaigua. And we're going to talk to another driver tonight who's going up on this wall, who's making history himself. A true zero-to-hero story, you might say. I listened to a few interviews this guy did a couple years ago, and the story is really incredible. Only at a dirt track in America could somebody who got his start in racing because his brother decided to go to prom. That's how he got his racing career started. He then went on to be a race flagger, both on the dirt and the pavement, and then went on to have one of the most storied pro stock careers in dirt car racing history. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice hand for the newest member of our Wall of Fame? How about it for Jipp Ortiz? Jipp, welcome back to the Land of Legends. This place is such a special place and has been a real special place to you in your racing career.
Yeah, for sure. My dad, ran here in the early 60s, so I came here as a little guy. I spent so much time at the racetrack, I just thought it was easy to do. My dad made everything look easy, and all of his friends. And so this place was just an amazing place for me. I never thought I'd ever get a chance to actually race here. We came here once in '99, and I was like, man, this place is something. And then in 2000, we committed to run here, and we ran for 5 years maybe or so, and we had a really good career here. Met a lot of great people. During that time, we were able to complete a bunch of other really good, maybe I'm going to say records, but like accomplishments that were really big to me. Yeah. And, it was really cool.
One of the stories that I heard this week was about how you got your start in racing. Your first ever start, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was because your brother went to prom, so you got to go racing.
I tell you, my little brother, he couldn't weld a lick. He couldn't hardly fix anything, right? So I came home from out west to run the body shop at Ed's Garage, where I'm currently at still. And we worked on a car a little bit with him, and I tried to help him. And the car was just sitting there on a trailer. Actually, didn't even have a trailer. I had a tow truck, and it was just kind of parked out back. And I would grab it with a wrecker, and I'd take it down for him. He went to his prom, and the car's just sitting there. But he's like this tall, and I'm this tall. Yeah. So my head rubbed on the roof. So I got in that car, didn't even have a fire suit, just had a pair of coveralls. I got in the car and we won. Wow. And it was just like, then I start thinking, well, man, is there any of that Ortiz blood in me from my dad, Because I had raced snowmobiles and motorcycles and had fun. But when my dad quit, I was like 14, 15, and he was like an alcoholic. He never went to the racetrack again because he just couldn't do it, right? Yeah. So I didn't go. I was good friends with all the Friesen boys, and I'd be down there in the concession like selling hot dogs. But I never was in the pits with the guys. So this was my first opportunity. I was like 30, and I got in that old car, and we drove it, and we won, and it was just funny. I was like, I couldn't believe it.
And with the nickname, the Ransomville Rocket, what's interesting about your story is a ton of your history is here at Canandaigua and not necessarily back at home. And I heard in part of that interview was your dad said to you, if you want to race with the best, you want to be one of the best, you've got to go to a place like Land of Legends, Canandaigua Speedway, it was called back then.
Yeah, I better not talk too much because we could talk for hours. I love to tell these old stories. My dad told me, and it was in 1962, the original Soapokes Club owned the Ransomville Speedway where it was currently at. They built it in 1958. 1962, they had went around and sold some stock so they could raise money to buy the property and stuff. They were just a bunch of racers. They weren't businessmen. Yeah. It's really funny. I got all the original paperwork, all the incorporation paperwork, all the taxes. I got it all from the start. Well, anyway, they lost control of the track. Somebody went around and bought up some stock. They were going to go NASCAR. My dad was like, to buy the NASCAR license was like $65, and back then that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So he said it was the best thing that ever happened to him, and the reason why is because he came here, he went to Fonda, and he went to Utica, Rome, and he raced with the best guys on the circuit all the time, and that was what made him what he ended up being.
I want to encourage fans that are watching tonight to look up, and we'll post the link coming up this week on social media, but that interview, one of the only tracks we know of that has any information or interview in the National Library of Congress, which is incredible. And we'll share that link. You really got to go back and listen to some of, and I know it's not Land of Legends specific, but some of that information in dirt track racing, that's how so many of these places started. So for you, that story got started very early, working the concession stand and then working as a flagger too. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of a it was a kind of a bad deal because Alex got hurt. Alex was killed, and they needed a starter for Lancaster. Jamie was going to take it over. So Jamie asked me, I wasn't racing at the time. He says, you want to be my flagger? I'm like, sure. So I went up there and we flagged, and I learned a lot. I thought I would. It was another funny story. I thought I'd be a really good flagger because I like to race and I grew up around it. I understand their pain, but I soon realized I had a striped shirt on and they hate you.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a couple guys. It was I'll tell you one quick story. I was at Lancaster, and last year's champion, late model champion, was a big star. He was leading the race. And we're trying to flag, and I think it was Tommy Walker was giving the Moore flag, and I was going white, and this guy behind him was last year's street stock champion. They went down into one. There was a lap car. The lap car went up. Anyway, the second place guy ended up winning the race. Oh. So I come down out of the I feel so bad because I'm really a racer. I come down out of the stand. That's when we used to stop all three guys. Yeah. So the old flagman was standing behind the wall on the front straightaway because I was supposed to watch him and do whatever he said. He drove the pace car. He was my mentor. Sure. So and I'm trying to talk to John, and John is just losing his mind. He's really mad. You could take that flag, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, dude. I mean, so after we got it kind of calmed down and the guys walked away, I turned around and there's Hal, and he's just standing there like this. And I'm like, what'd I do wrong? He says, he's lesson number one. You stay in that stand. Only one guy here likes you a little bit, and that's the winner. The winner, yeah. And it was a funny story. I never forgot it.
How did that change your perspective when you went from the flag stand back to racing?
I'm funny because I watch the starter every lap. Okay. I can tell you where he's looking. I know they got radios now, and I think that's a dangerous thing for me. I struggle with it because the guy on the radio better be paying attention, because you got their lives in your hands. They are listening to you. They no longer look at any corner workers. Yeah. I'm different. I look at the corner worker every lap. I can tell you if he's waving to somebody or if he's where he's looking. It's just the way that I do it. And I hated to see the flaggers get out of it. Were not as important. I like them to be a little more important, but it was good. It was a good time.
So, racing career-wise, and specifically here at Canandaigua, 40 wins, 4 championships right in a row, 3 Mr. Dirt titles, and 2 wins at the Moody Mile in Syracuse. That's a lot of accomplishments. A lot of drivers would love to have one of those pieces individually. So being the person that has all of that, what is a big memory that sticks out to you, if you can pick one?
The first Syracuse win was really special. It was right after 9/11. There was a lot going on, remember? Yeah. There's a lot going on in my head, in my heart. I was a lot messed up. Like, what's racing really about?
We're talking 1 month after.
Yeah. And we're sitting at the track, and I always like to walk the track before we race, and I was struggling internally with it because was such a tragedy, and here we are racing, and I'm enjoying this. It seemed unfair. Yeah. So that was a memory that I'll never forget. That was a race that I'll never forget. The second one was pretty cool because one of my buddies was in the grandstand, and when they were interviewing me, I forget who it was, the big tall guy who was interviewing me. He said, Jipp, did you ever think you'd win number 2? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And the guys in the stands were like, figures, that's what he would say, because you don't go to a racetrack not to win.
That's right.
But really, all the winning that was done was really done in the shop.
Yeah.
And guys can say this, and I know sometimes fans watching, they might realize it, but they don't totally realize how many hours are put in, what kind of sacrifices are made by your children, by your wives, by girlfriends, by everybody. Other church organizations, baseball games, we miss them because we're working on cars. Right. Is it really that important? Well, it was at the time, and I'm really thankful for the guys that, and a lot of them are here tonight. They're still here with me. We got an old vintage car, and they still come work on that, and we have a lot of fun. So I'm really thankful. This is kind of like you have a circle of influence in your life, and the racetrack is a place that I would call one of them, or call this is my family. And I know my wife doesn't understand it. Sometimes she says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I grew up as a little kid under the grandstands with a Matchbox car watching my dad. I remember going to the pits at Rolling Wheels, and there'd be like 100 people around the car, right? And I just thought, hey, this must be great because everybody's winning. It's cool, right? Yeah. Everybody loves my dad. Well, then when you try racing, you realize, wow, man, it's pretty hard. Right. You got to really work. So you got to count on these guys, and their sacrifice is as much on this wall as my picture. And I want people to understand that. I really, truly mean it. I don't mean it as I don't want to boast, but because I can't. I can boast in these guys. They did a really good job for me and gave me, these guys worked hard. And the reason why I won races is because they were here.
Well, I can tell you one thing I'm looking forward to is getting a group picture with you guys tonight and then comparing that to the picture by the trailer, because that got a lot of buzz on social media. And a friend of mine texted me when that picture came out, and he said, that picture with the crew, everybody matches, the trailer matches. He goes, when was that? That's a vibe. And I'm like, buddy, that's late 90s, early 2000s. Like, that was a big deal.
Mid 2000s, George Buxar had come around, Josh Company. He was all about that. He wanted everything looking perfect, and he kind of got us leaning that direction, and we just kind of kept going with it and made things look sharp. And, I run in a body shop. I like my stuff to look good, right? So, but it has to go fast. So, it was a lot of fun.
Well, again, 40 wins, 4 championships here. And let's not forget the one Sportsman win. What was harder, getting 40 Pro Stock wins or one Sportsman win here?
I don't even remember all the Sportsman wins. So it
2009.
It must have been tough. Yeah, I don't really remember. I always wanted to win races here. And Sportsman cars, I never liked them, and I'm not going to lie. I'm a full fender guy. I just liked the way they turned in and liked the way they rotated. So I struggled when that Sportsman stuff came around. I felt like I had to, because the Pro Stocks were kind of dying, so I felt I had to make a jump, but I never liked them. I'd go back to a Pro Stock right now if they ran them. I love them cars.
Well, let's bring Paul over here, and let's do the unveiling. Folks, how about a nice hand for the newest member of the Land of Legends Wall of Fame, Jipp Ortiz.
Congratulations, Jipp, and welcome to this hallowed ground of pretty significant people that have joined this. And as you just highlighted, Land of Legends is not only about the great drivers that come here, but the great stories that both fans, drivers, teams, and a lot of the workers here have had over the years. And that's really what it's all about. Racing, certainly anybody can race anywhere, but racing on this hallowed grounds and the stories that go with it means so much more with people like you behind the car. You had some great sponsors, Pizza Logs, obviously one of those longtime sponsors that helped revolutionize racing as a whole, makes it iconic with your name behind it as well. And there's a lot of fans that unfortunately aren't here tonight because of the way things are going. But we're going to have a great time celebrating Jipp Ortiz. Jipp Ortiz adding to the wall. So congratulations.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Jipp, I know you mentioned the crew that followed you around. You can't do it without great people. Tell us about some of the folks that have been there every step of the way.
Well, Randy and Matt Parker. Jim Stone was probably one of the single main reasons why we finished the majority of the races that we started. I'm a mechanic like my dad. He could fix anything, and it didn't break when he fixed it. Just a lot of guys that some of them aren't here, but Danny Robinson, Tana's boy. He spent a lot of time at the shop. All these, and we kind of they kind of come and go. They get married and whatever, but they kind of always stick around. We kind of always have this bond for all the guys. So yeah, Jim Stone was probably a major part of what we did. Randy Carr was relentless. He just was. He never misses anything. Anything needs to be done, just ask Randy. It'll get done. Adam Morgan, he came on a little bit later. He helped a ton. He washed every car every week. It was amazing. I mean, that's a lot of work alone, And my stuff always looked good. If you remember, he kept it clean, and straight. So yeah, it's just our wives. I know I've said it before. Our wives make a big sacrifice for us to come, do this hobby.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful to all of them, for sure.
Well, and your support continues here at the Land of Legends. We're happy to have you part of our flips, crashes, and thrills video over the off season. Thank you so much for your support of that. Just one of the deep roots here at the Land of Legends. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
All right, there's Jipp Ortiz, newest member of the Land of Legends Wall of Fame. Folks on Land of Legends TV and Dirt Vision, stick around. We are going to send it now to an interview with our 50/50 beneficiary tonight, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.